So here's the problem. The other day I was thinking about the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I wondered how they made the Hobbit so small and the humans so big. Because the actors are about the same height. So I did a little bit of research and I found out it was because of the trick called the Ames room. In the set, they built the Ames room to distort perception. You can make large subjects appear small, small subjects appear large. So, I want to see how this works, and then I decided to build one. So here is the Ames box. Alright, so here's the research. The Ames room was created by the ophthalmologist Albert Ames Jr. How it works is that it distorts your perception. It takes advantage of the fact that closer objects appear larger than smaller objects. The room is a perspective trick. It uses the trapezoidal structure of the room to create the illusion that it's flat. It creates the horizon. Due to the creation of the horizon, the retina processes the subjects at the same distance, even though in reality they're not at the same distance. That creates the distortion in height. That's a short explanation. It's simply a room that places different subjects at the same apparent distance, creating the illusion of different heights. However, because it is this perspective trick, it only works from one single focal point. If you move around, it's not going to work. That's why in the movies, the camera is only at that one single point, because anywhere else it won't work. So it does have its drawbacks, but ultimately it's a really good way to create the illusion of height without using CGI, because the mind can always discern when CGI is used and when it isn't. So this was a really authentic and natural way of doing it, and also saving money. Another caveat is that the larger the room is, the more successful the illusion is. A small Ames room isn't going to work as well as a large one, because you have a smaller horizon and there's more room for error in the illusion itself. Building it was a complicated process. The first thing I did was look online, find the dimensions for an Ames box. I found a model paper Ames box, and I extrapolated the dimensions from that by measuring it and then dilating it to my wanted height. After that, I went to Lowe's, I bought the wood, I drew out the faces I needed, and I saw them out. Then we assembled it, and I didn't record that process simply because of how long it was, but I'll show you the additions we made to it and how it's going to work. So here's my model Ames room, which I like to call an Ames box. To quickly cover the dimensions of the box itself, they're going to be 7 inches by 7 inches this way. This section is going to be 11 inches here, and then it's a 12.5 inch diagonal. And it forms a almost trapezoidal shape. This side wall here looks like a rectangle, but it's actually a parallelogram with a base of bases of 8.75 inches and 6.75 inches, and this one here has a height of 13 inches because it's the longer side. This wall here is also a trapezoid with the same bases of 8.75 inches and 6.75 inches, but its height is only 10.75 inches. This side wall here is a rectangle. It's going to be a 7-inch base with a 6 3/4 inches height. As you can see, this is the room itself, but as you look around, it's actually built out of trapezoids. So this is the long side. This is a short wall. And this is a medium wall connecting the two. What this creates is depth. As you can see, it's not perpendicular. Because of this angle here, you create the illusion of depth. So as you can see here, once again, you see the depth. However, when it's from a single point, it's gonna look flat, and from there you get the illusion. So I want to demonstrate one of the critical design aspects of this Ames box. The key to a successful illusion is also to have really even, consistent lighting. So I achieved this by drilling holes into the top of the box and then stringing Christmas lights through it. That creates a nice even illusion. So, looking at the box now, you can clearly see that there is a very physical slant in the back. The key to getting rid of the slant is to come right to the center, focus in on that one focal point, and to just play around with it until you get the right positioning. So you can see that this looks a lot better. It looks relatively flat. However, as I said before, it should be noticed that the larger the box is, the more effective the trick is. So that's why this isn't as effective as a giant movie set per se. Today I'm going to demonstrate the Ames Box solution with a couple subjects. These are some of the subjects that we're going to be illustrating the Ames Box with today. I have some Christmas decorations I brought from my home. I have these Frodo and Gandalf cutouts that we're going to be using. As you can see, they're approximately the same apparent height. I also have this lens cap that we can use. As you can see here, it's much shorter than those. So we'll see how it works out. So as you can see currently, I have the two bears in. You can see they were the same apparent height. And right now I've lined it up so that the wall looks fat and you can see the apparent height differences. So this is just a video demonstration. So you can see if you move somewhere else, it doesn't work. Any change in the focal point is going to alter how the illusion works. So we can, going back to the focal point where the illusion works best, as I can see, you can see the change. You can see the change in heights, apparent change. You can see the apparent change in heights. So what I want to do now is just show you a couple pictures of different objects and how they look. Alright, so I want to show you here. So this is the last comparison that I did. And what I've noticed is that some objects work better than others. Cylinders, for example, or cylindrical-like objects work very well compared to, say, my watch. But I've also noticed that large objects don't work well in this box, and that goes back to the size. Smaller objects work really well. For example, the bear and the lens cap, or the snowman and the bear, those worked very well. But these large papers don't work well visually as far as the illusion goes. So large objects do not work well within this box. They need a bigger Ames broom, or I would have to build a bigger Ames box for them to work in. Another contributing factor is the shadows they themselves cast. That also messes up the illusion. I've also noticed that the bigger the size difference is in between the objects, the better the illusion is. So these are the findings of my Ames box. I hope you found this informative and it was enjoyable. Thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun building this Ames box and I hope you have a good break. Thank you.